Welcome to episode 16 of Win the Day. And today's episode is Show Up to Blow Up. That's right, you've got to show up to blow up. Well, it's been a busy few months for me. I've been traveling all around the world. I've bought a house. I've had a whole heap of different things going on. If you're watching the YouTube show right now, you might recognize a little bit of a new backdrop behind me as I still work to build out this studio, but it's been a super exciting couple of months. But that's why we've had a little bit of a break in the podcast. But we're back now for episode 16 and excited for the good stuff here. The quote for today's episode comes from Nobel Prize winning author from Egypt. And this quote was actually shared with me by my client who lives in Portugal. So shout out to Halud if she's watching right now. She's a social entrepreneur doing some amazing things in Portugal. And the quote that she shared with me was from Nobel Prize winning author Naguib Mahfouz, who said, "Fear doesn't prevent death, it prevents life." Fear doesn't prevent death, it prevents life. And when I first heard that quote a few weeks ago, geez, it just stuck to my head. Sometimes you just hear a simple quote like that and it just resonates with you. So as we go through this episode, I want you to think about that. Fear doesn't prevent death, it prevents life. Now, before we get started, I'm also announcing a book giveaway. I'm giving away 3 copies of Think and Grow Rich: The Legacy, which is now available in Japan. Here is the Japanese version. Here is, of course, the English version. So I tell you what, if you want the Japanese version, you just let me know as you submit this contest entry. All you need to do is just email a goal that you have for 2020. Just email whatever that goal might be to info@jameswhitt.com. We'll include that email address in the show notes, or if you're watching this on YouTube, we'll include that in the link below. Just email your goal for 2020 and we'll pick 3 people who will receive a signed copy of Think and Grow Rich: The Legacy delivered to wherever you are in the world. All right, on with the show. Well, as I said, it's been a busy couple of months, and during this time I've had the opportunity to attend events around the world, from Dallas and San Diego to New York and London, and it never ceases to amaze me how important gatherings of like-minded people can be, not just for your happiness in the present, but to help you adjust your sails for what you want in the future. And just last week I returned from a high-level mastermind in Austin, Texas called the Pathfinder Mastermind. I had a phenomenal time down there. It was truly life-changing. And don't worry, I'll be sharing everything that I learned from the Pathfinder Mastermind in an upcoming issue as well. So keep an eye out for that. You won't want to miss that one. But that Pathfinder Mastermind in Texas was another powerful reminder for me that the key to connecting the dots on our future is found on the conversations we have with others right now. So the better our process of meeting new and interesting people, the quicker our route to making an impact will be, and the larger our impact will be as well. And if you work by yourself a lot of the time, which is a huge trap, especially for entrepreneurs, it's easy to feel increasingly rudderless without even realizing that it's happening. Sometimes simply attending an event can give you the jolt of inspiration and direction that you need. If you're serious about your professional aspirations, the message is clear. You've got to show up to blow up. And events can be used as the ultimate force multiplier, not just for your business, but also for your life as well. So what I wanted to do with this episode was share 3 different ways that you can leverage events to not only give you that jolt you need, but to help take your life and your business to the next level. Number 1, attending events. There are many benefits to attending events, and it might surprise you that not all of them are related to just being in the audience. These benefits include mingling with like-minded people who could potentially be a valuable connection for you and you for them, helping you realize who you do and who you do not want out of your life. So when you go and attend these events, you start to gravitate towards the people who share similar values and a similar energy. And as you've heard me say before, it's important to hang out with those who have a common future, not a common past. And it's very difficult to find those people if all you're doing is sitting at home or in your apartment. The third benefit of attending events is learning actionable strategies from those in attendance, including those in the audience and on stage. So we don't just learn from the people on stage, we also learn from the people in the audience as well. And finally, observing how the most engaging presenters shape their speeches, from structure to tone, emotion and storytelling, all the different things that these amazing speakers do to keep the audience captivated, to help make sustainable change in your own life. Now, modeling the habits of high performers in your own way is absolutely one of the most fundamental characteristics of success. And it's also one of the best things that you need to do if you want to become a quality presenter yourself. Now, wherever you live right now, wherever it might be around the world, I bet there's probably hundreds of events that are happening in your town or in your city or near where you live every single week. The key is to be able to find one or two people who you know who live in those areas who can help you pinpoint the one or two events that you should start to attend, maybe once a week, even once a month, just to get out of your comfort zone, just to help you get the most bang for your buck and start to unleash all of these benefits. And then guess what? Then all you need to do is show up. So that's number one, attending events. Number two, speaking at events. One of the best ways to position yourself as an authority in your field is to speak on as many stages as you can. But just remember, just like every good leader was once a good follower, you can only be a powerful orator when you've watched dozens of other leading speakers work their magic. To this day, I love seeing how the world's most renowned speakers, people like my very good friend Janine Shepherd and my fellow Aussie Vin Jiang and Oprah's success coach Brandon Burchard, I love watching the way that they use story from the stage to help excite people about what's possible in their own lives and give them the clues to take actionable change rather than just being inspired, because there's so much more that you need to take. Once that event becomes a distant memory, the real speakers are able to provide those seeds that you can unlock a couple of weeks or a couple of months later to continue with that change. Now, some speakers would rather avoid sitting in the audience. They don't want to be seen. They realize that they think all of a sudden that they're too cool to sit in the audience once they've spoken on stage, when that is a horrible attitude to have. I've spoken on hundreds, if not thousands of stages by now in my life, and I still love sitting in the audience. I sit there with a notepad and listen attentively, taking notes, writing down all different things that I can do to make my future speeches more impactful, more meaningful, more engaging, because I am a firm believer that we can learn from absolutely everyone. Now, you might be thinking, well, if I don't want to go and attend an event, is there a lazy way? And that lazy way might be going and looking up these speeches on YouTube. Now, you can certainly go and look up these speeches on YouTube, but I would say it's an okay substitute because you miss out on the myriad benefits of actually attending the event. You miss out on the mingling, you miss out on learning more about other people and finding out who could be a good connection for you. You also miss out on the whole vibe of the event, and really feeling that vibe is what sets up that mood that you need as a speaker, because another great thing that you can do as a speaker is turn up to these events early to find out what the other speakers have spoken about. And if you're just watching 5 minutes of a video on YouTube, or if you're only watching that one presentation, it's very difficult to see how well those leading speakers have tied in their presentation to everything else that's going on with that event. Now, if you have any desire to be on stage at some point in your life, and you should, because one day you might get asked to do a wedding toast or give a business presentation or do a product launch, the best education to being a good speaker is to continually watch the most accomplished speakers do their thing. Then prepare your own kick-ass keynote. And when we're talking about preparing your own kick-ass keynote, think about it like a band, how they need their radio hit. They constantly refine it until they have something that resonates. And in this viral world that we live in, it's impossible for a great message to not go viral. And the third and final step there is practice, practice, practice. It would make you sick the amount of hours that I spend practicing speeches and things that I am doing around the world. So really, really important. Those three things again: continually watch the most accomplished speakers. Second, prepare your own kick-ass keynote. And third, practice, practice, practice. This year, despite having a baby and buying a house and being on book deadlines and having speeches and all these other different things that have been going on, I have still made it a really important thing for me to show up at a lot of these events, not just as a speaker, but as an attendee as well. And as a result, it means that I have been able to rub shoulders and speak alongside many of my heroes, many of them who I now call my friends because of the shared experience that we have had speaking on stage. That process has been enormously invigorating in itself, and it never would have happened if I hadn't have made the decision to show up. So that's number 2, speaking at events. Number 3, hosting events. Now, hosting events incorporates the previous two because you're not only the attendee at the event that you're hosting, you're also acting as the facilitator too. While there are many different types of events that you can host, I'm sure you could think of dozens right now, some of the most beneficial ones that I have found come in small groups. I really enjoy that format of having 6 to 10 people in a room where you spend a good amount of time on each person individually, and then it opens up some free time where you can then go deep with some of those people to find out more about their lives and ways that you can possibly collaborate. So regardless of what service you offer or what problem you're currently facing, whether that's personal or professional, providing an environment for people with similar values. That's really important. People with similar values who are trying to solve problems for the same audience you have, but in a complementary profession. That's one of the most powerful ways that you can multiply your impact. Having a small group setting enables you to minimize your costs while positioning yourself as a super connector who can readily bring like-minded and interesting people together. Even if it's just people with similar values, forging a meaningful connection with them opens you up to their entire network. And if you're looking to grow your client base, this step is an absolute no-brainer. Better yet, if you're hosting the event, it forces you to show up. So you've got no excuses for not turning up if you're the host. What I wanted to do now was just give you a few examples of hosting events that you can use right now to start to get that idea, these ideas and thoughts and imagination unlocked in your head around ways that you can apply this show up to blow up mentality in your own life. First of all, you might be a coach who helps entrepreneurs automate and scale their business. You're excited to get some like-minded people together, so you invite an online curriculum expert, you invite a web designer, an events host, a videographer, a PR consultant, a graphic designer, and a podcast host. Afterwards, you send a follow-up email to everyone thanking them for attending and including a list of people's areas of expertise, who their ideal client is, and what problems they're looking to solve. So that's if you're a coach who wants to help entrepreneurs automate and scale their business. It's an easy way to get those people together. I've done that one with those exact people several times. It's phenomenal. Number 2, you might be a financial advisor with a deep passion for helping people achieve their financial goals. But you realize there's a lot more to life than what you provide alone as a financial advisor. So you decide to bring together professionals for an event with your most valuable clients. So these professionals might include a mortgage broker, it might include an accountant or a solicitor. Again, these are complementary professionals to the services that you provide, not your competitors. But you recognize that your clients, they want more than just a technical whiz. So you decide to mix it up a little bit. You recognize that these clients want someone that they can also have a good time with. Therefore, you also invite along a lifestyle speaker who can inject a bit of enthusiasm into these conversations and these events. You also invite a dietitian and a winemaker who can do some wine tastings to ensure everyone not only has a good time right there, but they also leave with a whole heap of action items that they can use to live a happier and a brighter and a more fulfilled and healthier life in every way than they ever thought possible. So that's the one for being a financial advisor. And again, you can apply this to any type of professional. And third and final example I want to share with you, you're recently single after a divorce. Firsthand, you've experienced the loneliness that comes from this situation, as well as the challenge of, again, trying to regain your identity. So you arranged for a group of individuals who were in a similar who are going through or experiencing something similar. You arrange for a mix of professionals who can help release the endorphins, who can get people thinking more positively again and have at least one fun activity just to have a laugh. So that might be people like a mindset coach, a yoga instructor. There's a whole heap of different things. You could even arrange for an aspiring magician to come along and help people have a good time. I've heard it work extremely well for female groups. I've heard it work extremely well for men's groups as well as mixed groups. So that's another example of something that you can do. So right now I want to ask you a question. Can you see the way that these gatherings can have a dramatic impact on your business? This is the way to unlock some incredible collaborations and get to know a whole heap of different people who can grow your business or enhance your life much quicker than you ever thought possible. Now, showing up to events or hosting events might scare you. It does for most people. We've all felt nervous or a little bit anxious rocking up to an event, especially if we're alone. It's certainly uncomfortable walking to a room full of strangers. But I want you to again think about the quote that we had for this episode. Fear doesn't prevent death, it prevents life. Your best life is on the other side of that fear you're feeling. So make a commitment to show up time and time again. And when you do show up, always remember that the best way to get is to give first. Solve other people's problems first, and then you'll have an army of people ready to solve your own problems. If you're not sure what events to attend, come along and join the Win the Day group that we've got on Facebook. Again, that link will be in the show notes or will be on the screen below if you're watching this on YouTube. And simply post a comment in the Win the Day group with your location, so where you live, what your goals are, and what your area of expertise is. I've got a pretty good network around the world, and if I don't have a direct solution of an event to attend, I promise you that I can find someone who lives where you're based who can help pinpoint an awesome event for you to attend as well. Now, before we go, I just want to give you a final reminder about the book giveaway. Just email one goal that you've got for 2020 to info@jameswhitt.com, and we'll select 3 of those people to receive a signed copy of Think and Grow Rich. The Legacy, the book that I still get emails from people around the world, is changing people's lives. So get out there and win the day. Until next time, onwards and upwards always.